Welcome back to the Three Bourboniers. This week we are doing another discussion video.
Yeah,
we had some solid feedback on the last one.
Yeah.
Essentially, what is this? We pick a topic and we discuss some things regarding bourbon and whiskey and that world we're in.
Yeah.
And each week, actually, Mitch comes up with a random topic, and he kind of presents it to us, and then we kind of discuss it. So it's sort of on the fly in a way.
And we're
some thought-provoking bourbon discussion.
And we're sipping on some Calumet 16 while we do this.
Yeah, so it'll be kind of similar to the other one if you haven't seen it. It's going to be a little longer than our other videos. Just going through some hot topics within the bourbon community and talking about what we love and hate about this beautiful
spicy
hobby.
meatballs.
Yes. So,
Controversy.
the first thing is chase necessary for value?
Chasing bottles.
Yes. So, do you feel that in order to come out of a purchase happy, there needs to be a chase involved? Or are you completely happy just going to the store going, whatever, I'll buy this thing and go home and I'll be happy?
I'll make the first point based upon what we discussed even before this, talking about this bottle. Mm-hmm. The chase is really important, right? That's part of collecting. That's part of any hobby that has like a tangible value to the items that you're pursuing. If those things are constantly on the shelf, take any item in the store, for example, right? Is Tupperware going to be something you're excited about when you see it 10,000 times a day every time you go to the grocery store? No, obviously not. Calumet 16, probably one of our favorite bourbons in terms of nose and just value.
Cherry Coke, it's crazy.
16 years old, all these great things. But up in Wisconsin, we see this bottle on the shelves. So therefore, we don't get too excited or gung-ho about finding it because we know once we drink through this one, the Bourboniers are probably going to go split another one 3 ways. And we're good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right? But if we couldn't find this bottle and it came around allocated, we would be like, dude, you guys, we got to go grab one of those.
If we had to chase it, it would be definitely more valuable.
Right.
So do you think distilleries should shoot for that chase? Or do you think it's too hard of a line to or do you think it's just you get lucky and find that sweet spot?
Loaded question.
That's a loaded. There's a lot into that question because
well, leading into it, I'll just kind of start on one front. Price. Okay, we'll just start with price.
Yeah.
Because price can create scarcity. If you have a really low price on a really good value, like Stag, for example, high proof, one of the best distilleries in the world, and they have just the best value in whiskey, it's impossible to find because everyone just buys it out.
That's Buffalo Trace as a whole.
Price in this hobby doesn't really not matter that much. Right.
To
Joseph Magnus, to an extent, like Joseph Magnus is $200, and I don't feel bad at all spending $200 on that whiskey because it's hard to find and it's so good, right? So it's got the value in the flavor, it's got the value in how hard it is to find. So the price is really it's just there, it's a thing. I don't really worry about it. So, and I think a lot of people, like we were just talking about this, if you look at the back shelf there, even this bottle, right? These are all $100 bills. So like if you're into this hobby and you're buying whiskey, I feel like most whiskey drinkers, right, and this is a blanket statement that's probably not true, but most whiskey drinkers are not so concerned about price. Like there are some of us who are very price averse, right? Like we don't want to spend too much, but when it comes down to it, I think whiskey drinkers in the hobby, right, are willing to spend money on their hobby. You're not into this if you don't have money.
Well, you have to have money,
or
have
to
be into it.
Some type of disposable income is what I'm saying. So so I think price is not that important. I don't think it creates, you can't look at some of the barrel craft spirits bottles that are $500 for a 30-year aged seagrass, or whatever it is, 25-year-old seagrass. We still see those all over the place. Yeah. I only see one of them, but no one's buying them.
Yeah.
Right.
So what does that tell you, right? They have one bottle, it's $500, and it's been sitting there for 6 months.
The proof is in the juice to an extent, right? That's a really good Stag. You can't find it, not because it's $50, not because they might tack on another $100. It's $150. It's because it's so damn good that people are just.
It's so good. It's hard to find.
$85. I'll buy it, even though you're spending $35 over retail or whatever it is. So.
So Mitch, in fact, I think it's the opposite. Price can actually do the opposite of what they're trying to do, right? A secondary price can make me find a bottle that I've never seen in my life and go, I've never seen that. I never will, but I ain't buying it.
Right, that's true.
So like it has the
Nah, man, that
opposite
makes
effect.
sense.
Like if you have a bottle that, I mean, again, and that's all up to the stores, the mom and pop shops that want to do that. Like that one weekend I ran into an old Fitzgerald and they wanted $900 for it. And I was like,
Wow.
I was like, yeah, I'll never see that bottle in my
No.
entire life. It's $900. That's gonna sit here for the next decade, and I hope it rots.
Who's gonna
So that's what I'm saying. Like that bottle's incredibly rare, and that price priced it out of anyone's pocket. And if anyone buys that, they're
They're
they
part
don't
of the
know what
problem.
they don't know what they're doing.
They're
right?
part of the problem.
Yeah.
They're the reason why it's priced
Even
that
someone
way.
who has unlimited disposable income, if you buy that bottle, you don't know what you're doing, and you're a detriment to the entire.
Yeah, it's equivalent to
Bourbon
like,
world.
hey, look at that Toyota Camry. It's a 2012 in great shape. It's worth about 12 grand.
And they
I'm
want
gonna
50.
give you 27 grand for that car. It doesn't make sense. You're not getting the value off of what you're spending on that item. And if you're like just doing it to brag, that's a problem in itself, because there's so many other bourbons you could just load up on that are great and affordable, and you can find
Yeah.
Calumet 16.
If everything was at retail price, no matter what shop you went to, then price doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because what's the most that a bottle's gonna be priced at retail is probably the Seagrass 25 year at $500.
Oh yeah,
like
that's
Old Rip at like $90, right?
that's
If I find that and I run into it, I don't care about spending $90. And $90 means nothing to me if I find one of those bottles, right?
Yeah, there's certain bottles where it's like,
What about
I'll give myself a $900 to $300 window, and if it's that crazy, I'll
Right.
buy it.
What about the I can't think of it right now, the Jefferson Ocean thing.
Oh, the
I forget what it's called. It's the new
The
release
Mother
coming out this
Miranda.
year.
Oh
Yeah, that
No, it's not called
I think it is
No, but that-
MSRPing at like $370 or something crazy.
and I've seen a few of those
And it's
now.
got 16-year age.
By the way,
and
they
it's-
have like 3 of those at festivals booths right now.
They're just
They'll probably sit there for a little while, but 300 is
I've heard
kind
people
of,
mention Jeffersons. I mean, I have actually heard people go, I like Jeffersons. I question your judgment, but I'm sorry. That's just my personal preference.
So
but
was your original question, does price create like scarcity? Like
yeah, so I think what I'd like to get into is your distillery, okay? You have the space, right, to generate as many bottles as you want. How do you market your product so that there is a chase and it's worth going for? Obviously, number one is going to be make sure it's good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's going to be the number one.
You do exactly what
But we're
Buffalo Trace
assuming
does.
that you're
just gonna
pumping
say
out
that.
good whiskey.
You make a bunch of it and you
do you
hold on to
create
it.
scarcity? Like
Yes.
you only pump out so much, or do
I
you
think
Buffalo Trace
lower
is
the
doing
price?
this right now.
Do
They're
you-
creating a million 12 Weller 12 years, and they're going, just release a couple of them. Just give a couple of them out. We have a whole stash of it. We'll bottle it. We'll put it in
Are you
bottles
sure
and
that
we'll
they're
hold on to
doing
it.
that though?
They have to be doing that.
Are you sure though?
I've never been to the distillery,
just that
but I know
popular?
someone who has, and I know the size and the scope of
Yeah.
their operation going on. And to me, there just seems like after hearing that, there's no way that they can't have the ability to push this stuff out. Maybe
So
I might be speaking out
so
of turn there.
you're right, but they are bottling it upon, so they're not hanging on to it, you know.
Right.
They're just pulling bottles, and they have such, you know, acreage and space to do this that they literally go, yeah, we just dumped, you know, 800 bottles of Weller, but guess what? Because they were smart and planned ahead and already had that popularity, they have 800 for the next day ready to rock. So they figured out the system to get it
They
out
know how to
there.
keep the machine moving and keep people happy.
But at the front of that entire thing is such a good product that spoke for everything else, the scarcity, the pricing. Tomorrow, don't do this. This is stupid to say, but Buffalo Trace could be like, you know what? Weller 12 years are going to be $185 now. People would still buy them.
yeah, they would.
And that's why the price doesn't really affect, you know, the scarcity, because it's going to be scarce regardless because of the juice.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So like, what about distilleries taking on the role of like distillery only releases and or, you know, even when they do like batching, yearly batching, right? Because there's a difference between like Weller 12 is scarce, but every bottle is generally the same.
Yeah, I mean, the whole distillery. So I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if they all started like, I'm thinking right now, if Driftless Glen, right, a smaller distillery in Wisconsin in our area, if they decided to do a 12-year port finish,
Yes.
And they said there's 500 bottles, right?
Dang, it's pretty limited.
I mean,
Like,
I would
and now you're talking
Yeah.
every single other distillery is gonna do something like that, and all I get to do is go to the one that's near me and pick it up. I'm still gonna be pretty happy that I
You're
get to
gonna be
go to
pretty
that
psyched
distillery
still to
and
do
pick
that?
it up. So that's where my mind goes. It's like I don't
Okay.
think that you can saturate.
I
You
know.
can't overly saturate that market.
No, because it's so individual, it's so sectioned out that like there's no oversaturation. Like it's like, okay, you got that crazy bottle,
Yeah.
good for you. You guys got that crazy bottle, great for you.
And
Whatever.
let's be honest, to make enough of those whiskeys, you have to have so much money and space. Like, it's never
Right.
gonna happen. Buffalo Trace, the biggest distillery in the country, can't keep up with demand.
Right.
So that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, to think like, oh, it's gonna be oversaturated because all these, you know, micro distilleries, if you will, are doing these specialty
Are
releases.
doing their little.
No, it's never going to be enough because, again, the biggest one can't keep up. So how is Driftless Glen and High West, how are these little guys going to keep up when
They can't.
they can't, you know? So
And so the more I think about it, the more I'm all for it. Like the
Yeah.
more I'm for like
I'm all for it.
If every distillery, like okay, yeah, it's gonna suck because I can't get out to High West, right? There's gonna be
Well, that's my worry. Is
So there's
like
gonna be
I
some of
want that
those
bottle, but how the hell?
that Encore that's gonna release distillery only. And luckily we have someone out there, right?
Yeah.
And we've made connections through YouTube and stuff like that where people can send us bottles. But there's gonna be some that come out that we can't get. But if every distillery did it and I can get my hands on something that's near me, right? If I can make the drive and go and show up at 5 a.m. and sit in
That's
a line
exciting.
and go, I think that's cool. Why doesn't every distillery do that? I want
is
them
pretty
to do
cool.
that.
Yeah.
I would be happy.
we would
for that.
gladly
So,
drive, Driftless Glen's about, you know, hour and
hour and a half
from us.
away, yeah. So
We would gladly drive down there. And
100%, and that could be something that's special for us. We could make memories from that. Like there's so many things that go into that. So like I'm down for it. I wish every distillery
it's
did
the
something
adult
like
version
that.
of waiting in line for a Halo 3 to
It's the same exact thing.
to
Yeah.
launch, you know?
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore because it's just not a
Well,
thing.
because what? Like the whole reason why Old Forester did the email thing this last year was because their line started to get like chaotic. I guess like people were waiting like weeks ahead of time, like or a week. I don't know if I'd say weeks, but
Probably a week out.
yeah, they were probably waiting like 5-6 days in front of the distillery.
I hope that's
waiting
not
to
true.
get birthday bourbon.
So,
And you know, eventually they're just like, all right, we got to come up with a better way because this is kind of
so
insane.
not to interject another thought pattern, but another cool way is like, instead of waiting that one time a year, I loved what Michter's does. And every morning they go, yeah, we might have 5, we might have 25.
It's kind of cool.
We don't know. You might show up and there's nothing. But it's every day. Like
Yeah,
there's a chance that if you go to Michter's in Louisville, you might get a
Michter's 10.
a 10-year, like single barrel or rye. Like how
I like that.
that's cool because there's like
I
this
like that.
unknown, but like it's not
It
like
forces
hey, we're
locals to
saving
go
it
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not like we're saving up for this grand thing that you're never gonna have a chance at. Like at least they give you a little bit of hope, which is like half the. I'm gonna take you guys there when we all go.
But you're gonna be real upset when you go and you don't
Yeah.
get anything.
But
I need to get one.
but guess what? That makes it valuable.
There you go. There's the topic, right? The chase.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I had one more thing I wanted to make sure I brought up here.
Oh, so good.
So in regards to it, like
Finish
in regards to a chase, what makes you go home and go, that was a good chase. That was a successful chase. I'm happy. Is it?
It makes me smile. Thinking
You know, or do you look at your
a
stash
hunt?
and you're like, hell yeah, yeah. Like what?
When I go
Is
on the
it-
hunt,
You
the
got
hunt is successful.
you found like a holy
when I put
grail of a
when I-
bottle,
when I
or
put
are
a
you
pelt
just
in the
like?
wall. That's when the hunt is successful.
Yeah.
It's all about putting pelts on the wall, no
you-
matter what.
When you come home and go,
Yeah,
looks good right
there we
there.
go. There we go.
it's
If you're a bourbon nerd, you take a picture of it.
well.
yeah.
I will say for us, I think the two exciting things about that are when Mitch shows up and goes, and we both look at him and go, "What do you got?" And he's
Pulls
like,
it out.
he's looking at us and he goes, and
Or-
we're like, "Oh!" You know?
Or when I get a random text in the middle of the day
Yeah,
from Mitch,
it's just a photo.
and,
Look
and
what I got.
and I know something's about to drop.
Yeah.
And
You
Mitch
see
just
the
picks-
photo, you see
Yes.
the like the text come in and it says photo, you're like, oh god.
Well,
Is he sending me right now? Like
I live in 2023, so I have an iPhone.
oh yeah, so it actually
So it
shows
doesn't say photo. Or
Mine
not, but
just goes photo in case I get never mind.
it's Android guy. But no, it is incredibly exciting when I get those pictures. But I think to your point, right, like or to your question, hunting, like, am I satisfied Like, so if I come back from a hunt and I have like a mediocre bottle, like I'll call Elijah Craig barrel proof, easily findable, but
Yes.
semi-rare, and something that if you find it on a hunt, you might pick it up, right? So if I come back with one of those, am I satisfied with it? I would say yeah, that's a satisfying hunt. If I end the day with a Elijah Craig.
Yeah, but
barrel
it's
proof.
satisfying. You know, I'm talking like complete success. Like,
Am I excited?
are we talking like we only when we do these raffles where we go and we hit like some gargantuan, you know, beast of a bottle, or are you still happy? Like, because I feel like I'll just say it. If I'm going and I buy an Elijah Craig barrel proof, I'm happy, but I'm not like,
Right.
It's not.
oh
it's not
my
a
gosh,
successful trip.
right?
Well,
No, I agree with that.
but to us, are we
But that's
different
us.
than the average guy who?
So we've been in this long enough to where I would say at this point, right, when we go on a hunt and we're looking for something, if we don't come back with something that is extra special, right, and this might sound snobbish or just like, and that's okay because that's just the reality of it. But like, if we don't come back with something that's truly special, like a stag, like. I would even consider like a Weller 107 for us as special because we've never seen one in store. If you come back with a Weller full proof, that's when I'm truly excited and truly feel successful on a hunt. But if I come back with a Larceny barrel proof, or an Elijah Craig barrel proof,
it doesn't register the same. You're kind of like, it's.
you'll put it on in the filing cabinet, and then you'll walk away and you probably won't think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's exciting and it's fun, but no, it doesn't get my. Doesn't get me in the loins like a good stag would do.
No, stag is definitely like
the oddities, right? Like when you and I walked into that liquor store and there's nothing going on, and we look on the shelf and there's the High West Prisoner.
Oh yeah,
right. It's glowing, and you're like, whoa!
We're getting that. Get that down.
Everything clinches up. And you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What's that?
I was
Well,
like,
and
does someone else want it? I'm like,
that's
get
a
it.
good point. Like those times where you're like,
Your heart starts beating.
It's like when you see a big buck when you're hunting.
Yes,
You know,
same exact
like,
feeling.
exact.
You can't believe that you're at the counter. You just want her to put my card through so I can get out of here.
Hey, I need to pay for
bought
it, so it's mine.
6 Eagle Rares.
Yeah, you're
I'm
like,
yeah.
and that was back when we were first.
You feel like you're drug smuggling
Yeah,
or
I'm like-
something. You're just like,
And I go up to a cashier that has no idea, like, it should be one per person, and she goes, dude.
and scans 5 of them out.
And my
6
heart's
of them out.
dropping, and I'm shaking, putting the card in.
that was me when I got
And that
my
was when we
Elmer.
were first hunting whiskey
Yeah.
too, and like Eagle Rare was the
Yeah,
trophy.
that was the
And you were like,
heavenly,
oh, you called me after you're like, dude, you will not believe what just happened. I just bought 6 Eagle Rares at a store.
And guess what? I've never gotten more than one at a
right
time
since then. Yeah.
They go, here you go, here's your one. Don't ask questions, take it, and you're like, so.
All right,
Yeah.
so I think we've kind of covered it for the most part. I just kind of want to summarize and make sure like we understand. So for us, Chase is very necessary to be like, I love these bottles. Now, price is not exactly a factor. It may be to an extent, but not entirely. Then we talked about locational scarcity, where it's based on distillery only kind of thing. Then you guys were kind of for it. You're saying,
No, I'm all for it.
Let's go.
I mean, it kind of adds to that, like, it kind of already happens, right? Like, I just mentioned in our last couple of videos, people down south get Weller 107. Well, up here we're getting Calumet 16, and
Special reserve.
it already kind of happens, and then it kind of opens those trades with people like everywhere.
Yeah.
So I do think that's important. And then
The last piece was the hunt, the feeling. Of
oh yeah, yeah, and in the fact like coming back like satisfied and what determines
Pelt.
success.
What's a true successful hunt? Yeah.
Yeah.
Throwing a pelt up on the wall, taking a picture for your boys.
Yeah.
That's what a successful hunt is.
Mhm.
Yeah, again, this would not be a fun hobby if you could go to the store and get Pappy Stag.
If you can get every bottle for $50 and it's always available everywhere,
Right.
then no one would be doing this.
Right.
Let's be honest, scarcity is a big deal, and I think it's important to the industry.
So
As
you
much as
think-
we hate it, it's also a love it thing too
Yeah.
for me.
You think
It's
like
all
if
fun.
every single bottle that's made ever was just on the shelf, that this hobby would just die?
Would
Yes.
It wouldn't be a hobby. It would just be
Pokemon
like-
be popular if every pack came with a Charizard in every single card? If they sold all 101 in each pack and you just went and bought one
No.
pack, would it even be a thing today? Absolutely
And that's
not.
why we never got into sports
And
cards.
that's paper, and they can print as many as they want of those.
I mean, that is
And
like
they
the
decided not to.
perfect example.
In sports cards, when you can buy the whole season, like all the cards.
It makes it so they sit on the shelf.
Right.
But here's the thing: is you have a chance. Every pack that you buy, you have a chance.
It's the lottery aspect.
Walking
of things,
into the
Which is the
grocery
best
store,
part.
you have a chance.
and you can hate it or you love it. But if you hate it, then you don't understand that that's what makes you love the hobby.
And
Exactly.
And not to get too
No,
deep, but like scarcity drives everything. Scarcity in gold drives the monetary value of the U.S. dollar, right? Like scarcity in oil is the reason barrel point prices fluctuate. So you have to have scarcity, otherwise it has no value.
It's just very interesting to like.
It's a very interesting.
How does a
topic.
distillery master that? Like,
People
it
people
takes
hate
years
on. That's the
and
thing. Is the
years.
funny thing is a lot of people hate on like, oh, I can never find that. Like, don't even review bottles that we can't find because like we'll never see them. And it's like, yeah, but you should love the fact that there are bottles that like you will never see. I appreciate the fact that I will never see a Pappy 15 years sitting on a shelf.
23,
And-
we will never, ever see.
And it makes you enjoy it when you drink it that much more.
Exactly.
And that's the
it
whole
creates the moments. The reason
Yeah.
that you even get the moments to drink some of these with
Yeah.
your friends and feel special about it is because you can't find it very easily.
When you drink Pepsi, are you going, oh, this
Embrace
is,"
it.
You know, no.
Embrace the suck.
Cheers, guys. This
All
is
right.
talking about drinking with your buddies when you find those crazy bottles. But
Let's wrap her up.
what do you guys think? I don't know. Do you think chase is very important? Are you fine? Would you wish every bottle was just on the shelf? I mean, I doubt it, but
No, I don't think
you know,
so.
maybe there's
I don't
people out there
anymore.
that hate the chase. I don't. Maybe they're not like us. We love Pokemon cards growing up, so maybe we're kind of biased. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you liked our discussion video. Love to hear from you in the comments. Please like, subscribe, check out some of our other videos. We did do another discussion video. The one prior was talking about whether you should pop bottles or not. You know, store them on your shelf. I think that was a really good
That was a good topic.
discussion as well. So, but anyways, yeah, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
All for one and one for all.
Cheers.